Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 229 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Dirk, as per usual, talking all things football. So, another win for the Vancouver Whitecaps, another good day at the office for the Whitecaps, another dominated performance. I said to you before the game in the press box, I wouldn't be surprised if the Whitecaps were up 3-0 on Sporting Kansas City before halftime. It only took 28 minutes.
Yeah, that was pretty much job done. And at that point, I think we can say that the Whitecaps kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit and decided to conserve some energy. Sporting KC didn't even have a shot attempt in the first half. Their first shot, I believe, wasn't until after the hour mark, just after.
Something like that.
They had no shots on target, only 3 the entire match. They had more control, I would say, in the second half, but never really threatened.
Yeah, all the shots the Sporting Kansas City had, I don't really remember them, to be honest.
There was only one that was from close, just on the edge of the 6-yard box towards the right of Takioka. He was well positioned. I think it was the only really kind of, I don't even think, and you know what? He didn't even have to make a save on that one because that was the one that was ended up on the replay, showed that it had been blocked by Tristan Blackman. So, yeah.
Yeah, good defensive performance again from the Whitecaps. It helped that Sporting Kansas City are a very bad side. This is the same team that lost to Colorado Springs or whatever they are called. But yeah, it only took 13 minutes of the game for a goal to happen. Sabby did miss a shot earlier, but just chaos in the back. Good play, link-up play between Berhalter and Thomas Muller. Laborda was absolutely clobbered in the box by John Polskamp, the SKC goalkeeper. And then Sabby was there to bury the rebound.
It's one of those ones that if Sabby wasn't there to bury the rebound, that one definitely would have been a penalty. So yeah. I don't think it was anything to worry about. But Sabby definitely deserved that goal. He had another chance only 2 minutes into the match where he could have put one up at that point. But it was nice to see him keep fighting, not get discouraged, and ultimately be rewarded very, very early on.
Yeah, his best game of the season so far.
Yep.
We talked about how he has gone off to a slow start. I know he went through personal things in the offseason. It's why he didn't even attend preseason or missed a large chunk of it. Maybe he's found his footing now, thankfully. Or maybe he's just one of those players that start slow, and now that the weather's getting warmer, maybe he's just getting better.
And it could be a little bit of that as well. You go back to last season when he first came in, he started the season injured, right? And so once he finally got back to being healthy and then match fit, and once he started playing again, it took him a little while before we got to see who he was and before he started getting consistency in minutes. That could very well be the type of player he is, and hopefully that upswing continues.
Slow starter, and we should also mention Bruno Caicedo's first MLS start, and he was rewarded with a goal. Polskamp passes it to his defender. The defender, I don't know where he was passing it to.
Yeah,
it was just right to Bruno Caicedo, and Caicedo made Polskamp pay.
But it was such a well-timed, patient shot to pick out that far post on the inside of the post to put it back in. Full stretch from Polskamp, wasn't able to get down low enough to get it. Bruno Caicedo, he's going to be a special player.
Yeah, I mean, the fans were chanting his name throughout the match, and there was a lot of excitement. You're a special player when the fans get out of your seat just to watch you dribble. That's
there's such a quiet confidence from him. A little bit of swagger. It's nice to see.
It proves he's not just a 1v1 merchant. He can create as well. And
we've seen that a few times already in his goal creations in previous matches where he's come on. It's nice to see that he can also put the ball in the net himself. We know that's something that he was more than capable of. We've talked about it before. Definitely a different kind of player and 1v1 player than what Ali Ahmed was. But the system that Jesper is working allows for either of these players to function well. So I don't feel like they've really lost a beat.
Yeah. Someone told me that Bruno does remind them of Ali Ahmed in a way. Like, at least Caicedo doesn't fall over super easily. He just goes, and takes on the defenders. But yeah, I see the similarities there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, just 6 minutes later, Sabi, incredible job to keep the ball from going out of play on the right-hand corner. And then he finds Thomas Muller for the header. And, just 28, 29 minutes in, the Whitecaps were up 3-0.
That play by Sabi was more impressive than his goal. To chase down the ball, keep it in play, which I thought was more than enough right there, because that's tough. To be able to get back on his feet and to put a cross in like that for Muller, who was the second player in, was phenomenal. That one got people out of their seats. I don't think you get to see a play like that often.
Yeah, just desperation attempt to keep the ball in play. Like Sabi and Eddie Ocampo on that right side, with Ocampo more or less playing the overlap. Very threatening, especially in that first half.
Yeah, it was
second
really nice
half, still dominant. Didn't score any more goals, but again, SKC 3 total shot attempts and just couldn't really get anything going. Berhalter and Kubas were winning the midfield battle as they usually do. And Polskamp in the first half was so horrendous. His distribution, his positioning. Guy was flopping and flailing all over the place. But in the second half, he improved.
You have to remember that on top of those 3 goals, Whitecaps also ranked 2 off the crossbar.
Yeah, it could have been 5-0, 6-0,
yeah,
7-0.
Right? So, you know what? This was one of those ones where everything, you knew that they should win before the game even started. They didn't disappoint. It was a day of the office.
Yeah, and Simon Fudge, I believe, of Soccer Talk Vancouver in the press box, I think he was the one who said that Minnesota United put more effort than SKC did when Minnesota were down 6-0 against the Whitecaps a few weeks ago. It sure felt like that.
Yeah, I mean, SKC has got a really big problem. We talked about this earlier on, where if you're not getting service to Jovic, there's nothing that there really is to do. I would say there's only one player that really impressed me on SKC, and that was Capita.
Yeah.
Who, if I'm right, I believe may have been getting his first start for the club, because I think he is a new player. But he was very creative. I thought he did very well. He forced a pinpoint tackle off of Kubas, where if Kubas had missed it, he would have been off to the races on Takioka. They need more players like that. And I think they still need a player like Capita to be able to find Jovic. I think once he had the ball, he tried to do a little bit too much by himself, which I can get at this point if you're struggling for the team to get anything done. But yeah, they definitely need to start working together. But someone like Capita, I think, is someone that you could start looking at to build this team around. And the other thing that was really interesting is that heading into this game, you take a look at Manu Garcia. Manu Garcia, I think he has the second most creative chances in the league. So it's kind of interesting that you have a player like that here, but none of those actually ever come to fruition.
Yeah, and for the Whitecaps, it was just business as usual, and should also give plaudits to Kenji Cabrera, who looked good off the bench, and so did Oliver Larraz. Those two were creating chances, and if not for Polskamp, it would have been much, much, much more. And
I'm still really high on Kenji. I'd like to see him more, but it was nice to see him because he got almost a good 25 odd minutes, I think. So that was nice to see.
I'd like to see him play in the 10. I was thinking that they'd sub off Thomas Muller at some point in the second half. They didn't, and they put Kenji Cabrera on the left wing. But at some point, I'd like to see him on as a 10 because that's his natural position. And when Muller leaves, that will be his position.
I thought last night would have been a good opportunity to put him there. Obviously, they're going to try and keep Mueller on as much as possible, but I do feel that he is a guy that gives you a great 60 minutes, and then after that starts to fade a little bit. And obviously, I mean, it's understandable when you think of how old he is. The one thing I was happy was that we got to finally see Djordjevic get his first minutes with the senior team.
Yeah, good to see the kid make his debut. Quiet, but he did the job. So
yeah, there wasn't a whole lot for him to do. He just kind of just did the job that he was given to him. And forgive me, I'm always going to butcher this name.
Greshnikov.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who plays on the left with Djordjevic on the right. Very much like that debut, right? Just don't try to do anything
too much. Just do
that you haven't learned from Whitecaps too. Just do the simple job, do the simple things right, and let the rest of your teammates, kind of carry it the rest of the way. And I thought that was good on him.
Yeah. And everyone did the job. Not a bad thing could be really said about this game from the Whitecaps, other than maybe they should have scored more. But you'll take a 3-0 win any day of the week. And the Whitecaps are on top of the Supporter Shield race still on goal differential, because San Jose, they absolutely walloped LAFC on their home ground.
So first goal San Jose is behind them too, I think.
He did score in that game, yep. And yeah, the Whitecaps have built up an early slim lead on the Supporter Shield race. And it's still early, obviously, but it's nice to see where the Whitecaps are at this time of year. So one more home game for the Whitecaps until they're gone from BC Place until August due to the World Cup. Colorado Rapids come to town, Oliver Loraz's former team. And let's take a look at where the Rapids are in the standings. They drew to Inter Miami at the Broncos Stadium, Mile High Field or whatever it's called.
No, they lost.
Oh, no, they lost. Yeah.
Yeah. 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah.
And
they're doing decent, though. They're sitting in 8th right now in the West. It's playoff spot. One of those, I guess, play-ins, what we call them.
Play-in, yeah.
Their record is not bad. I mean, they're 4-0-4.
They're doing a lot better than previous years,
yeah,
to say the least. And this is a team that could challenge for those play-in round spots, maybe like a 6th or 7th spot. And they are playing today, actually.
Yeah. The one thing is this is a team that knows how to put the ball in the net. They only have 1 goal less than the Whitecaps right now. The thing that's hurting them is that they're leaky at the back.
Yeah, this is going to be a step up from Sporting Kansas City. Don't expect another dominating performance again, but a factor is tiredness, because Colorado goes to LA to play LAFC tonight, actually.
Oh, interesting.
And then they come to Vancouver on the weekend.
There you go.
Former Spurs assistant coach, Matt Wells, is their head coach.
That's right.
And, just looking at Colorado here.
And he just joined at the tail end of last year, I believe.
Yeah. Something like that, or early this year. Rafael Navarro, obviously one of the big names that stands out. Same with Darren Yappy. Zach Steffen, American International. I don't know. It's just ever since he moved to Man City and then came back to MLS, just hasn't been the same.
No, something shook him a little bit there. Man City is one of those places that demands absolute perfection. And if you show anything that isn't at that level, I don't know. They kind of ruin you. They forget you. Maybe a better way of putting it. And that can be hurtful to a lot of players.
Yeah. It seems like they play a 4-4-2, just according to Google. When Navarro is one of the main strikers. Yappy also is a guy that's key off the bench. And, I mean, you wouldn't think they're the most exciting team, Colorado, but they're a team that, Whitecaps have had problems against, especially down in in Colorado, even at BC Place at times. Colorado in recent years would snag out a draw. So the Whitecaps have the advantage here. They're at home. Colorado is playing 2 games in like 5 days. So there should be no excuse not to get a win, but don't expect to blow up again.
It would also be really nice to end this homestand with the win.
Yeah.
Obviously, going on the road is going to be a bit of a different beast for the Whitecaps when they do it. They've only had the 1 game in MLS on the road so far, which was to Portland, and that was handled pretty well. But they face some more difficult fare when it comes to the road. I think their first one on the road is going to be against the Galaxy, who again have been struggling, have had their own problems. But then there's 4 more after that before the World Cup break.
Yeah. 23,000 is what we were told. Is the amount of tickets that have been sold for this Saturday's game. Be nice to see the fans off before a mammoth of a road trip. We won't see the Whitecaps play at BC Place until August, so this is your chance. If you are thinking about going to the game, you might as well, because this is their chance to, see the Whitecaps before the World Cup. Manuel Sabi did have cramping at the end of last game, but he was training. Ryan Gauld is doing work off to the side, according to Har.
Yeah.
And Ranko Veselinovic and Sam Adekugbe are still training with the first team.
The one thing there has been talked about is there is a possibility that Ranko could be on the bench.
Which, if possible, great. And if the Whitecaps are up by a significant margin somehow again, might as well just bring him on.
Yeah. Obviously, for the type of injury that he had, for how long he was out, you don't want to bring him back until he is 100%. But if he is at that and can be at the bench, the huge morale boost for a team that's already flying high would be phenomenal. To have a player of that caliber back, we're like Tristan Blackman caliber player, the top 2 center backs on this team.
Yeah, those are easily your starting center backs, Ranko Veselinovic and Tristan Blackman. So, Whitecaps, Colorado Rapids, this Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And now we have to address the elephant in the room, the ongoing relocation rumors about the Whitecaps, especially given that Las Vegas has announced a $10 billion development sporting complex, which includes a 50,000-seat soccer stadium. And rumors of Sacramento are starting up as well, as they are expanding their stadium to 20,000, hoping to attract MLS.
Yeah, so there's a few things about this. The group in Las Vegas, Star Vegas Development, it's a 63-acre strip or a site. It's all connected to a new casino resort that's going to be built on the south end of the Las Vegas Strip. As you said, a 50,000-seat soccer-specific stadium built specifically to try and entice an MLS team there. It's also going to include a 25,000-seat NBA size stadium that can
Vegas
also
has been looking at NBA for years.
Yeah, and this will also be able to be converted to hockey as well. So I don't know if the Golden Knights might look for a new place or what they're going to do with that.
T-Mobile's fine.
Yeah, but 25,000.
Oh yeah.
Name another stadium that is that big in the NHL other than the Bell Center.
Yeah, only the Bell Center.
Yeah, only the Bell Center. I think it's the largest hockey-specific rink in the world. So there you go. Yeah, this is pretty damning. We know Vegas has been looking for an MLS team for a long time. They've been looking for an MLS team longer than they had professional sports teams in Vegas. And now you've got, a number. Vegas is, stocking them up.
Yeah, they got the Golden Knights and the Raiders. And soon
you talked about
Athletics.
Sacramento as well. Now, Sacramento, obviously USL, they're looking at that 20,000 seat stadium. They almost had an MLS team years ago, but it was in the middle of COVID, and one of the owners at that time got cold feet, pulled out, just with the uncertainty of COVID going on at that time. They're right now the temporary home of, it's a baseball team.
The Athletics.
Thank you.
Who are moving to Vegas.
And that deal runs out at the end of the year, which means that as far as professional sports go, you'd still be left with USL. And then Sacramento in terms
Kings,
of NBA and whatnot.
NBA,
but
we're terrible.
Losing a team, even if you already knew it was only going to be temporary, there is the opportunity that they're going to want to replace it with something at a higher level. MLS over USL. You can argue that all you want. Yeah, it is. So that is another place that has been looking, and Sacramento in particular have been looking at Vancouver as potentially something that has blood in the water. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. Other than that, we're still waiting for information to come out of Vancouver. There was an article that came out earlier this week that was put out by The Guardian. Obviously, a few people have been talking about that. The article's tone was quite dour, to put it mildly. There's still, they did talk with Axel Schuster with that. They still talked about the Hastings Race Course as a potential site. They talked about BC Plates still being potential for long-term if a deal. Basically, they're saying all options are still on the table, but all options are still on the table because nothing has been solved yet. Oh, you're mute.
Oh yeah, there just hasn't been a lot of clarity.
No,
in the last few months, and just radio silence regarding the Whitecap future. But Axel Schuster did say, obviously, they're not sitting waiting; they're looking to find solutions, going through A, B, and C. But he said, "I think everyone should be concerned about the long-term option of the Whitecaps, and we don't know what the future will hold." Basically,
yeah. I would say in particular with this Guardian article that came out, forget the other stuff going on in the United States right now. That's their own thing. And yes, they might try to put a foot in the door. But this Guardian article is what really has kind of flipped the mentality of fans watching this right now, and a lot of people thinking that the end might be in sight.
Yeah, it feels like we're in the end game now. I'm going to bring up the Save the Caps website started by the Vancouver Southsiders, where, it's pretty much the grassroots movement to save the club from leaving town, to show what's at stake. And there's a statement. You can download assets like wallpapers, logos, banners, social media. You can sign the wall,
and for people to know, this wall is in addition to the change.org petition that was started by former Whitecaps.
I've signed both.
Yes, as have I.
We don't want this team to leave as much as you do. And, the Save the Caps hashtag has been floating around social media. And it's nice to see, fans of other MLS teams start sharing this hashtag, like Columbus Crew. Fans, we all know that they almost relocated to Austin. Seattle Sounders had a Save the Caps sign at their last game.
Which was nice to see that it was actually in the stadium. That was something.
And our good friend Edgar of News Across the Galaxy.
I got to join News Across the Galaxy on Monday to actually talk about Save the Caps. So it was really nice. And it was nice to kind of be welcome on different shows to talk about this right now, because I think the one thing in MLS, and maybe it's different than other leagues, I'm not too sure, but there is a unity amongst teams that goes beyond rivalries. And it is really nice to see that when one is struggling, the others are there to try and help pick them up. And I will say right now, with how the Save the Caps kind of movement is still in its infancy, but other clubs, fans of other clubs, have jumped on right from the beginning. And I think that's great to see.
I think it's good that people understand the historical significance with the Caps. This is a club that's had many incarnations, been around since 1974. People, love the rivalry between Seattle, Portland, Vancouver. You take one of them out, it's not the same, right?
No, not at all.
And, Vancouver, is a good market for soccer. And I guess, though, MLS is a smaller league compared to other professional sports leagues, and fans unite around that and try to grow the game together. I guess that's why you see that camaraderie between fans, and I don't know. I'm scared. I'm fearful that this team is leaving Vancouver, and just I can't imagine the city without the Whitecaps. I can't imagine MLS without the Whitecaps. And it would hurt for everybody to see, the Sacramento Whitecaps, the Las Vegas Whitecaps, or whatever they might be called, happen. I can't really remember the last time an MLS team relocated. Probably hasn't been since like the 90s or early 2000s.
Or a team that folded, and the only thing I can think of is what, Chivas?
Yeah, they just flat out folded, not relocated.
That's the only one I can think of and that's not even recent history. That goes back years.
Back another decade.
The last big movement, which you already touched on, would have been the Columbus Crew, back when there was the possibility of moving them down to Texas.
Yeah, and they needed a new stadium as well, and they eventually figured it out.
Yeah. There was a massive groundswell of support for that movement as well. I'm hoping
fans are looking for
Whitecaps is just as much.
Yeah, and it is also not a good sign, as we mentioned last week when Ken Sim is talking about Major League Baseball potentially to Vancouver. I still think that's a pipe dream and a real election ploy. Politicians.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I only see it as an election ploy.
Yeah.
Show me an owner, and then you can start getting serious about it.
Like there is a consortium that has a plan for a stadium and a plot of land, great. But more importantly,
I don't know. I look at that and I think of the stadium that they built for hockey in Quebec City to try and entice, and you still got now just Major Junior playing there.
Yeah,
the Ramparts.
NHL is always talking about expansion, so that's still on the cards. As I'm seeing on the
2 decades old.
Yeah. The Save the Caps wall has been signed by people not just in Vancouver, but Columbus, across Canada, even in places like Japan. So yeah, people really do care about this team more than you think. And I get ticked off when people say, "Oh, nobody cares about the Whitecaps. It's 13th tier league soccer. Oh, it's not viable." People really care about this team, and I understand the finances are hurting this team, but if you get a good deal with BC Place, a new ownership group, likely to be a consortium, and hopefully that P&E stadium off the ground, things will change.
I have seen a little bit of that as well, where people say, "Well, it's untenable, so let's just quit," or it's untenable, and then they have nothing else to offer beyond that. Which I don't know. It doesn't compute in my brain of just. I don't understand the mentality of just bury your head in the sand and hope all things go well. So if you want to save this team, then you actually got to start doing something.
Yeah. In this podcast, obviously, we're Save the Caps. We'll put the link in the description to the Save the Caps website in the podcast and YouTube descriptions. For the game this weekend against Colorado, Save the Caps will be a huge theme throughout the march, and I think throughout the game too. I wonder if the Southsiders have anything cooking.
I wouldn't be surprised, being that it's the last home game that you're going to see here for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Save the Caps tifo or something. That would be nice. Tifos are kind to make, but they're nice to see. And I just hope we get some sort of clarity. I mean, Axel did speak to the Guardian, but other than that, there's no news on the MOU on the P&E Stadium, nothing on a BC Place deal.
When we last talked about this specific issue with Axel or anyone else, we're going back to like November, December of last year.
January, too.
And they told us right from there that you're not going to hear anything probably until at least the fall. So we knew that, I think, going into it. The problem is once you get that information in the fall, you're already almost at the end of the MOU, but you're also right within a month of Vancouver elections. And the outcome of that could affect the MOU as well, because all of a sudden you're going to have new people bargaining.
Yeah, and you're going to potentially have a new mayor and city council who might have different ideas.
Or in the entire business structure that kind of, runs underneath the council as well.
Yeah, and The BC Place deal just runs at the end of this year. The MOU runs until the end of this year. I know it's still months away, but time's ticking. Axel did say that for the long-term deal with BC Place, it needs to be a quote-unquote game changer. Don't know what that is. Whitecaps obviously need help with revenue. New sponsors and partners have come in. And, it's just sad that despite this team being good, we're talking about this and that they're lacking revenue. So, Save the Caps movement, it's in full swing. Started David Osted, did his part with the petition. He was on this show a couple weeks ago, so you can listen to that where I talked to him about it.
And the other thing that could be kind of thrown into this, and just to mention, is within the past week, BC Place has a brand new CEO.
Yep.
The former CEO, who had been there for 12 years, is set to retire. Rihanna Din, I believe, is the individual who's going to be taking over the reins of not only BC Place, but the convention center as well.
Yeah, because
PAVCO will run through PAVCO. That could be an opportunity as well. A new person coming in, a new person to talk to, person with new ideas, or maybe new ways to try and make things work. So there are opportunities in different places.
Right. And, well, time's ticking.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. And don't know if the Whitecaps will be here by this time next year. Hopefully they are. It would be sad if they aren't. I'm fearful.
I'm not. I always used to say that I was cautiously optimistic.
Same
I may
here.
not be as optimistic as I once was. But let's talk about happier things. What's going on in Europe?
Yeah.
Maybe not so happy. I don't know.
What's the point anymore for Chelsea? Like, why bother? This club, Blueco has almost killed my love for this club. Well, at this point, I don't even care if we lose anymore and concede. So first starts with a 1-0 loss against Man United on the weekend, who were missing Harry Maguire, Lisandro Martinez, and Lenny Euro in their back line. And Chelsea still couldn't break them down and couldn't score a goal. And Mateus Cunha scores against the run of play. The only goal of the game. And that attack of Garnacho, Liam Delap, and Pedro Neto hurts my eyes because they offer nothing. I don't know. Garnacho just loves to run into defenders. Delap, at least he tries, but no finish. And Pedro Neto kills it, counterattacks. And what makes things even worse is that they're looking to sell Garnacho already. Wow. Who knew that buying a winger with terrible dribbling rate would backfire? Could have signed someone like Cherky or Semenyo. But no, they went with Garnacho. Same old sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards, sideways, backwards. No chance creation. Or hardly any chance creation. But the big story was not the game itself. It was the protest between Chelsea fans and Strasbourg fans prior to the game against Blueco. It looked like there were thousands of them. They were loud. They were angry. And it was much better than the protest that happened in January, where only like 20 people showed up or something like that. This one was by like the thousands. And the message was sent in a way. And then yesterday, Brighton is Chelsea's feeder club. Brighton owns Chelsea on the pitch. This one was even worse. Same old, but not a single shot on target, just 3 attempts.
Ouch.
Kadiglu, I don't know, like Racine tries to play a defensive style, like 4-3 at the back in a way. I don't know what it was. Like, they were barely even attacking at all, but Brighton scored 3 minutes in from Kadiglu's header. Hinchelwood and, of course, Danny Welbeck score in the second half. And this is the first time Chelsea have lost 5 straight league games without scoring in 114 years. Last time they did that was the year the Titanic sank, which is fitting given the state of Chelsea right now for like the Titanic.
Yeah.
Sinking. 2 wins since the start of March. One of them was against Port Vale.
There you go.
And actually, I'm going to bring up here. Look at the financial losses the Athletic put up on Chelsea. I'm just going to wait for it to load. So remember, Bedadik Wali said that Chelsea were not terribly well run under Roman Abramovich, but look at this for those who are watching. It is staggering. Second. Here we go. Blueco's total loss is £689 million over the last 3 years, and that's £629,000 every day. More than half a million. Like the whole thing with 22 Holco, the registered company in Blueco, 1.852 billion pound losses. They have taken 1.390 billion pounds in debt. Wage bill, 374 million pounds, accounting for 76% of the club's total revenue. Highest ratio among the Premier League's big six. Funny, they were all talking about, we must have saved the wage structure, but refused to sign game-changing players like Osimhen and Michael Olise. And the wage bill accounts for 76% of the revenue.
Yeah.
Total bill is projected to be 1.4 billion in loans. So basically, too long didn't read. This club is in a financial hellhole. Thanks a lot, Blueco. Thanks a lot. Chelsea were debt-free under Roman Abramovich. And now they have so many debts to pay off. And just this morning, Liam Sr. has been given the sack. He's out.
In fact, it was only a few minutes before we started this broadcast.
Yeah, and I was hoping that the club statement would include Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, but Liam Sr. is gone after 106 days. He should have never gotten this job in the first place. And it was clear he was not fit for the job. He was nothing but a word salad manager. I don't even know what his style was, but Maresca shouldn't have been sacked. And Chelsea's Champions League hopes for next year are very low. And Callum McFarlane, the redhead, will take over as the interim head coach until the end of the season. And he will take over for the FA Cup semi-final game against Leeds at Wembley over the weekend. And they will wait till the offseason to find a head coach. And reports are saying Chelsea are looking for an experienced manager. They had one in Thomas Tuchel, who won them the Champions League a year prior to the takeover. Yeah. They got rid of him. He wasn't experienced when he came in, but they also had Enzo Maresca, who was building a good thing, but they got rid of him because of ego, and he just left. So now what? You bring in Will from the In-Betweeners to do the job, and he fails. And now they're looking for an experienced manager. It took this long. And they've been saying the same thing with players, too. I don't trust Winstanley and Stewart and the rest to find a new manager. They should just go with him. I don't know why, they hired Maresca, they hired Rusinier. I don't trust them to hire another manager. Sporting directors should go as well. Names like Arola, the Bournemouth coach that's leaving, have been popping up. Same with Felipe Luis, former Chelsea player, Brazilian. Some people are throwing out Julian Nagelsmann as well. Says Fabregas, potentially.
So I think you wait until the end of the World Cup, the one guy who I think will be one of the most sought after will be Nagelsmann.
Yeah. It just that would be the dream target, but I don't know if Nagelsmann would want to work under Bali and these sporting directors. because he pretty much backed out back in 2023.
Yeah.
So we'll see who the next manager will be for Chelsea, and yeah, it's not looking good. Sure, I should be happier, but Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart should leave as well. And well done, Blueco. Your project has absolutely crumbled due to the ego and refusing to change the model. Speaking of Brighton, looked like a win for Spurs against them, but Spurs did what they usually do and deservedly draws against the former team.
Actually, this one I blame you. You sent me a message saying Spurs were going to win, and
I
20 seconds later, that last goal happened.
Yeah, well, sorry, not sorry.
You know what? It was a much better game to watch. Tottenham got started in the first half. Pedro Porro with a brilliant play through Xavi Simons to bring the ball in through the left, cut inside, get over to Porto, who was breaking in from the right. Looked pretty good. Unfortunately, at the end of the first half, and we can talk about because similar happened at the end of the second half, Tottenham not shutting down until the final whistle. Mitoma in the 48th minute, 45 plus 3. Absolutely beautiful shots. Beautiful goal. Unfortunately, defensive error in not watching that man streaking in at the back post and just kind of falling asleep. Simmons gets the win back, or the lead back, I should say, in the 77th minute.
Oh, he celebrated like it was the last minute winner.
It was a beautiful goal, too.
Yeah.
Patience of him to get it onto his right, move inside, keep moving until he found the space beyond the defender, get a chance, take a look at the shot, put it off the inside of the post. It almost rang post to post, but it was just inside when it bounced off on the other post, enough for the goal. 95th minute, Ruder. And this one, I hate to say it, the ball gets skinned off of Danso. Player plays it back up to Ruder, puts in the net. Unfortunately, Danso, because of his misplay, has now been subject online to many racist comments. The club has come out, obviously, to go against, say that they're going to be working with authorities and whatnot to see if they can identify who these individuals are who have been circling these around, and no one should be subject to that. But yeah, another missed opportunity. This felt like it should have been a win, and it was kind of interesting because heading into this game, you had the team who had the best play-in record over the last 10 matches versus the team who had the worst record. And it looked like actually Tottenham was doing quite well. Unfortunately, they couldn't hold on, and they are now 2 points beyond being safe because West Ham drew their match and Nottingham Forest won, I believe. Yeah. It's still not looking good. Off the pitch. One note that was good. James Maddison was on the bench.
That's good.
He didn't play, but he was on the bench. He is now available for selection. We finally have at least one creative guy back from the team from before. Still waiting to hear on Kulishevsky, but to have James Maddison back is huge. Leading candidate for Tottenham's new director that they're trying to bring in right now is Sebastian Kiel of Borussia Dortmund. He had been sporting director there. Have to wait and see if he wants to go over to Tottenham. Now, Spurs have said that they want him to work alongside Johan Lang. So a lot of people are really angry about that because they want Lang gone.
Yeah.
Especially after they decided to keep Lang when Paratici left to go to Fiorentina, which was arguably a pretty difficult project as well. And he's had success there. So, back in the wrong guy because everyone thought Paratici was just Levy's guy. But no, he was the guy that was actually running the show even back when, Pochettino was around and building those teams.
I'd take Kel at Chelsea.
I think a lot of people would take him right now, but he seems
but
to be quite happy where he is. Other than that, we're still hearing about all the players that could be leaving. Possibly another one that might be coming in. There has been rumors of Lucas Chevalier of PSG as
not
in terms of a
getting
new
minutes at all.
goalkeeper. Yeah.
Again, I'd take a Chelsea.
It's contingent on them staying in the Premier League. One deal that is not contingent of them staying in the Premier League is Spurs enacting the buyout clause that they kept with Troy Parrott when they sold him. Be 25 million pounds, I believe. But he has done phenomenally since he's left. And Parrott, I mean, he came in as a kid through the Tottenham system. He's basically said, I don't care where they play, I would come back. So if they're looking for a quality striker, this might be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see if they just decide to do that. A couple of players that could be leaving. Papamate Sarr has been attracting interest in Spain with Real Madrid, alongside Christian Romero, who's also been attracting interest from Real Madrid. We'll have to wait and see if it's going on with that. The other one is Lucas Bergvall, apparently has been attracting interest from
Arsenal and Chelsea.
Chelsea and Arsenal, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bergvall would do great. I think anywhere he would land, but I don't know if Tottenham would be willing to sell to either of those two teams unless it's a monster deal that allows them to basically rebuild the team that they might have to heading into the championship.
And of course, Chelsea are late because they want to sign every young player on the planet.
Exactly, right? So there you go. You can sign them to a 17-year deal or whatever it is Bluco wants to do. There have also been increased talks about Mickey Van de Ven. Not even looking at a team yet. I know that he has interest from Spain as well, but looking at negotiating an early release of his contract with Tottenham so that he would be, they would work out whatever, and it would allow him to leave easier. There's also the talk of Xavi Simons is not going to continue on after he's done, which, I mean, I think we all knew about that too. Kolo Muani is not going to renew his loan.
Yeah.
So wherever they end up, it's going to be a much changed team next year.
Exactly, yeah. Even if they stay up.
It's
going to be a big rebuild.
Yeah.
So that's the misery of Chelsea and Spurs, but more misery for another English team, one that won the Premier League 10 years ago. Leicester City have been relegated from the Championship to League One, and we know about their financial problems, but this is depressing.
You feel for them, and I mean, I know Leicester, now that they're back in the Championship, all the financial problems that were waiting for them kind of came to roost because they couldn't be touched while they were in the Premier League. EFL doesn't run the Premier League, so they weren't subjected to those rules, but they are now. And that 6-point deduction, which did get upheld, has hurt quite a lot. Obviously, if you took away that 6-point deduction, they would only be a point behind Blackburn, another former Premier League winning team. But Leicester City joins Sheffield Wednesday on the way down to League One.
Yep, and Leicester's relegation was confirmed yesterday when they drew 2-2 at home to Hull City, where Canadian international Liam Miller had a goal and assist. Should mention that. And speaking of Sheffield Wednesday, Liam Rosiner's buyout was $24 million, and Sheffield Wednesday cost $20 million.
Yeah, tells you how much to buy a manager is worth more than a championship level club.
Yeah, but yeah, it's sad to see Leicester, Premier League champions 10 years ago, now going to be in League One, and they are a mess.
It's going to take some time for them to rebuild. They're going to have to go through a massive restructure, but you hope that eventually, like a Sunderland, they're able to climb back out.
Yep. And speaking of teams going back to the Premier League, Frank Lampard's Coventry have won the EFL Championship and are going to be promoted to the Premier League, or are promoted to the Premier League.
Yep. First time in
25 years.
25 years, yeah. Good on them.
Good on Coventry. Frank Lampard has done a great job there. And
he's definitely rehabilitated his own image as a coach as well.
Yep, 26 wins, 11 draws, 7 losses. Coventry came flying out of the gate. Kind of stumbled a bit mid-season, but now have 89 points, have won the championship, and are going to be in the Premier League next year. 10 points ahead of Millwall for in second.
Other team that's going to be promoted is Lincoln City out of League One into the championship. They're moving on up. A team that I remember back in the day when they were still in the National League, in non-league football, and doing very, very well for themselves. A very well-run club. Speaking of non-league, I think we have the potential for one of the most epic finishes ever. York City and Rochdale. They're first and second in the league right now. Now, if you know in the National League, the top team gets promoted. The next 6 teams go to a playoff. So only 2 move up to League 2. Yep. But York City right now is on 107 points. Rochdale's on 105 points. And I believe both these teams actually have their final game of the match or final game of the season against each other. So be prepared. That could be one heck of a finish if you're interested in going further down the pyramid.
Yeah, that is going to be one hell of a finish. And what else will be one hell of a finish is the Premier League title race as Man City beat Arsenal 2-1. Donnarumma made up for his absolute gaff with his big saves on Arsenal.
Yeah.
And Erling Haaland did what Erling Haaland does. Score goals, he gets the winner. And Arsenal, it's happening again, it looks like. Bottling is what they do. Arsenal are looking like the Buffalo Bills of the Premier League. And, well, it looks like they could bottle the Premier League title for the 4th straight year. And honestly, if this happens, and if I'm the Arsenal board, I'm getting rid of Arteta.
The only thing, if they bottle the league, the only thing that could save Arteta, potentially, is winning Champions League.
Potential, but if they don't win that,
you have to say that he has done an excellent job to get them where they are, but he has had too many chances to get it over the line. He's not the guy.
Yeah, he's had the time. He's got the players he wanted. He's built the system.
Every single player in that team right now, I believe, came in after him.
I think maybe except Gabriel, but that's about it.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know, and some of these signings just aren't them. Like Victor Gyökeres is not that guy. Eze only shows up against Spurs.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Noni Madueke just isn't that guy either.
Yeah.
Maybe perhaps Arsenal could take Garnacho off Chelsea's hands this summer, since they always like to sign Chelsea rejects for some reason. But credit to Man City. That Ryan Cherky goal, beautiful. Like, just takes on the defenders and scores.
Yeah.
Beautiful goal. And City have a game in hand, and it's just 3 points behind Arsenal. And, you know, it would be very funny for us, actually, if Arsenal bottle the Premier League and lose the Champions League to either PSG or Bayern. I think they'll get by Atletico Madrid. I'll say this.
You know what? I don't know, but I'll say that is one tie that I'm not interested in watching.
Yeah, that's going to be the terrorism derby or the Harambal derby, whoever you want to call it. I'll watch it just for the sake of it, but it's going to be painful.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult few hours.
Yeah. So Arsenal have Newcastle at home this weekend, while Manchester City have Burnley away.
There you go.
So, well, it's happening again for Arsenal. The bottle memes are out of control. If City pulled this off, props to them, especially signing Semenyo and Gay. You know, boosted their chances. Semenyo's done well, and Gay has done as well. And Arsenal will be very funny for everybody.
Not surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising that they're bottling it.
Yeah,
because that's what they do. So that'll conclude this week's episode. Hope you enjoy it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua00, Nathan and Derek. Podcast at Terminal City FC. We're on Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Check out all the writing for Area 51 Sports Network that we do and others do. Also enjoy the rest of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Your Oilers play the Anaheim Ducks in Game 2 tonight. I think they win tonight, possibly. You never know. Whitecaps, Colorado this weekend, last home game before the World Cup. I'll be there. Nathan will be there. We'll be covering that game.
Yep.
Maybe you'll be there too, hopefully. And yeah, we'll talk to you again next week.
That also should mention this Friday is the beginning of the Vancouver Rises season.
Yep.
So if you get a chance, check it out. That's 7:00 at Swangard. He will be playing. It'll be a rematch of the NSL final against AFC Toronto.
Yep.
I'll be at that game as well.
All right. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.